Good things happen in the oil and gas industry. I was running uphill for a long time. One of the few people saying that oil prices are coming back. Don't believe the lies about demand and the effects of demand and COVID. And here we are. Now we're starting to have analysts. I mean, how can analysts get it so wrong? Okay. But now analysts are starting to see $100 oil on the horizon. Okay. And I want to watch this video where an analyst is telling us what to expect in the future here. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you're interested in oil and gas as an investor or you're in the business, this is the channel for you. Please subscribe.
OPEC Plus has maintained certain output cuts, and that shale producers in the United States are actually producing almost a fifth less oil than they were, say, a year ago or, ahead of the pandemic. How high do oil prices get before all of that supply starts flooding online?
I think that's the $1 million question right now. I think you're exactly right. Supply has been a very critical factor, and I think full marks to OPEC for how they've handled the market. This is very much their achievement, and they will take a lot of credit for this. Saudi Arabia in particular coming in with that 1 million barrels per day of voluntary cuts. They will start bringing that back from April onwards. But to your point, shale production, we don't think is going to go back to the 2019, the pre-COVID levels anytime soon, if ever, because they are more focused on discipline or like shareholder returns right now. I think in terms of oil prices, part of the problem is that the market can see this rebound in demand coming and supplies remaining tight, exactly what we're talking about right now. But remember, we've also got a very, very easy monetary policy, so much liquidity in the system. We've always called for $80 plus oil in 2022. Maybe that is $100 now, given how much liquidity there is in the system. I wouldn't rule that out.
And so one of the things that she mentioned was, if oil prices come back, is supply just going to cause oil prices to drop again because of the supply? Okay, so first off, the rig count is at 392 today. Okay, that's an increase of 8. But just in 2019, we're well over 1,000 rigs. Okay. Money has dried up for the oil and gas industry. Nobody wants to invest in oil and gas right now in comparison to what it was in 12, 13, 14. I mean, we went from billions and billions of dollars to just being completely dried up. Everybody's jumping on the green bandwagon, okay? Shale's not going to come back, okay, for multiple reasons. So right now, our total U.S. production right now is 10.9 million barrels a day. Now, a lot of investors ask me all the time, he's like, Sean, we've been stagnant as far as flatline, as far as oil production. When are we going to start decreasing? Now, first off, shale wells, from the day they come online, they start to decline. They have the fastest decline of any oil well out there. Okay, most of Russia and Saudi Arabia's wells are conventional wells. Back in 2008, we were producing 6 million barrels a day, but that was mostly conventional, probably 98% conventional oil. And so here's the deal. Production is dropping, okay? But the thing is, there's a lot of wells that haven't come online yet. And so they're increasing production with brand new wells, okay? Wells that have already been drilled. So here's the thing you need to understand. We're not increasing in production, and they're bringing a lot of wells online, okay? Just wait until there's no more wells to bring online, and we're going to see a major reduction in production. Now, crude oil prices rose today after the Energy Information Administration reported a crude oil inventory draw of 6.6 million barrels for the week to February 5th. Okay, so the EIA was expecting the analyst. Okay, these guys get it wrong over and over again. Okay, and I don't understand why nobody's really calling these guys out, but they were expecting a 1.3 million barrel build in crude inventory, and we ended up drawing 6.6. How can they miss it by almost 8 million barrels a day? Okay, there is no scenario where hydrocarbons disappear. The chief executive of Baker Hughes, 100% renewable energy scenario was simply not possible. There's plenty of evidence this is indeed the case, despite the hopes and ambitions of many environmental advocates. These hopes and ambitions imagine a world where human activity is powered from electricity only, and this electricity in turn is being generated using only renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower. Such a world, however, is unrealistic. Take Germany, for example, the country which is among the EU members with the most renewable energy capacity, produced very little solar energy since the start of this year. The reason? It's winter. It is producing solid amounts of wind power, that's for sure, but it also generating power from the most despised fossil fuel of all, coal. At the time of writing, its carbon intensity was 264 grams of CO2 equivalent per a kilowatt. That was comparable to the carbon intensity of another poster girl for renewables in Europe, Denmark, which is currently getting the most of its energy from wind power. It seems building renewable capacity in itself is not the silver bullet solution to the emissions problem. In fact, if you build it too quickly without adding substantial storage capacity, okay, now that's the problem we're running into. Green tech does not have substantial storage capacity yet. Don't tell me that we have it. We don't, okay? It could backfire. This was the most recently evidenced by a narrow miss of a major blackout in Europe prompted by a minor problem at a Croatian substation that rippled through the continent, highlighting the importance of maintaining the grid at a constant frequency, something renewables cannot do because of their intermittent generation. So we need constant frequency, okay? So if we had a bunch of wind turbines, let's say we had enough solar power panels, we had enough wind turbines to power the entire grid. The problem is green tech does not have enough power to give constant frequency, which would cause major blackouts. So the problem is not only do we need enough electricity to power the entire grid with green, we still need a backup of coal, of fossil fuels, of oil. Without it, it ain't happening, guys. And so all we're doing right now, we're doubling the amount of energy we produce just to use green right now. That doesn't make any sense. And until we have the battery tech to do this, we're just sitting ducks. It ain't happening, guys. Could oil prices break $100 next year? Oil prices go as $100 a barrel next year on the back of a very easy monetary policy and reflation trade. Okay, so reflation trade, what does that mean? All right, reflation trade simply means that the economy is pumping so much money into the economy that even though we're not seeing inflation yet, we're on the way to inflation, okay? And so a lot of people are buying gold. A lot of people are buying commodities quite simply because the more dollars you pump in the system, the more expensive commodities are going to become, okay? Now, here's the thing you need to understand. A barrel of oil is sold in U.S. currency. That's why they call the U.S. currency the petrodollar. Look up the petrodollar in one of my videos, okay? It'll explain what it is. But bottom line, a barrel of oil is sold for U.S. dollars. And the more U.S. dollars that's flooding the economy, which we're seeing more money being printed than we've ever before, but the more dollars in the system, the more inflation, the more expensive a barrel of oil is because you got to trade more dollars for a barrel of oil. So the day an barrel of oil is born, the moment it comes out of the ground, that's what it is sold for, whatever current prices are and whatever the value of the dollar is, okay? So we're en route for multiple reasons of higher oil prices. We've got a major decline in production. We've got these policies by the Biden administration that's destroying the oil and gas game here in the U.S. We've got everybody's putting their money in green technology, and everyone really believes that we could replace oil today with green, and we just can't. I mean, they think that, we already have the sprockets, so now we just have to build 1 billion of them. We just need to mass produce them. No, that's not true. We need the battery tech. We need the solar tech. We need we don't have the technology yet, guys. Okay. And so what we're doing is we're dumping a bunch of money in a dream, in an idea. But it doesn't exist, guys. And if you believe that lie that, hey, the tech already exists, you're being misled. And that's what they're doing. That's what the Biden administration did. They made you believe, hey, the tech already exists. The only reason why we're using oil right now is because of evil politicians. They're destroying the world. So hey, I'm your solution. I'm going to bring green to the table. No, that's not the truth. That is such a lie. The reason why we're using fossil fuels is because it's the only thing that works, okay? All right, guys, I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you like this channel, please subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Thanks.